everyone, we are Geeks Not Nerds. I'm Captain Logan.
And I'm Vince.
Vince, today's question comes from Karamin Head, who asks us to talk about Warner's apparent new plans for a shared DC universe like what Marvel has with Avengers, a shared DC Justice League kind of universe. Now, let me first off state that I'm basing all of this on an article that was sent to me by this guy from comicbookmovie.com, and I don't know how much of it is confirmed or not confirmed. It looks pretty confirmed. But anyway, if any of this ends up being debunked later, we're just doing this to respond to this guy's question, okay? So anyway, what Vince and I are going to do right now, we've already looked at this list. Vince is fuming, which is why he's not talking right now. He's really, he's fuming. So anyway, what we're going to do is we're going to go down this list. We've already kind of looked at it, and we're going to look at this kind of point by point, and we're going to just kind of talk about what they're doing and how we feel about it. As I'm pulling this up, let me pose this question to you real quick, Vince. Why do you think Avengers was so successful, and do you think it is possible for that to be recaptured? That's a loaded question, and there is one right answer. Sorry, go ahead.
I kind of feel like, I want to ask that question, that age-old question, if Marvel jumped off a cliff, would DC do the same? And,
I wrote a blog with that. That's what you're quoting, isn't it?
Oh, I've heard somebody say that before. I guess it was you.
It was me. I wrote a, I thought that was it. I wrote a blog years ago with that title, after they decided to kill off Batman because they'd recently done it with Captain America, but anyway.
So that bothers the crap out of me.
That's funny.
I think Avengers was successful because they, weren't necessarily trying to make lightning strike twice. They were trying something a little different. And they put a lot of their eggs in the same basket for one thing. And luckily it all managed to work out. I don't think that's a recipe for success. I think they just happened to be successful.
Yeah, I think it happened for a couple of big reasons. I think the first is... But this doesn't work without the second. I think the first is it had never been done before, but the second is they did it right, if that makes any sense at all. Now, we did a video months back, maybe even as much as a year and a half back now, about how we didn't love how the Marvel films were pushing Avengers so hard as they were going along, but ultimately it all worked out. You know what I mean? We're like Avengers was really good, and those other movies were all mostly really, really good. It's just that... I still felt like they were kind of selling Avengers a little too hard before it came out. That was the only thing.
I'm still going to stand by what I said back in the day. I really don't want to have a shared universe for either of them. I still don't want
You still don't want that?
I feel like it's okay for where it's been. I just don't necessarily want to corral ourselves into doing one tone for all of these different movies. It drives me nuts.
I don't think we have one tone with Avengers, though. Well, I think it does feel like one universe, but I think they've done a pretty good job of it being different tones. But I mean, we could argue about that.
I'm just afraid that it's just all going to become the same thing, and I don't want to have to. If you can guess how many comic books that I have from either Marvel or DC right now, I might be a little impressed. I have one. One book.
Oh, you mean on your pull list right now?
Yeah.
I thought you meant in your collection. I was like, wow.
I was like, that's total bull.
I was like, it's not fair. You didn't sell any of it to me, dude.
On my pull list, I only have one. I have some other Marvel stuff, but it's all extra.
I do think they managed to excite a lot of people and get a lot of people on board with the shared universe thing because it hadn't been done before. I really want to stress that point because now it's been done, and it's been done really well. So the fact that somebody else tries it again will not by itself guarantee success. Now, I'm not going to say that there's no way in the world that this will be successful, but I think it's interesting and kind of sad that this information came out right after Avengers made so much money. I wish they had announced this like a year ago. They're taking no risks. It's, it worked with Avengers, now we're going to try it. I'm getting the sense that, we'll go through this list here in a second, I'm getting the sense that they didn't even know they were going to do this while they were making Man of Steel at all. And now Man of Steel is supposed to be the movie that spearheads it.
Yeah. Which makes me worry about Man of Steel.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't worry about Man of Steel, though, because I think that movie was made before they even decided to do shared universe. So
but
that doesn't tell you anything about...
completely shot and everything?
Well, it's been shot. I think it's done. I think it's been shot for a while. I could be. I mean, it comes out next summer, so I don't know that. I don't know that.
If they go back and start adding things into it, trying to lead up to it, that's what makes me afraid for it.
You don't want that to happen.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Exactly.
But it's just we got the original pictures of those first shots of him in the costume months ago. I'm sure it's been shot for a while. I know Star Trek's done. That comes out next summer. So,
See, I just don't want to have
done, but shot.
I suppose maybe we should go down the list. And
We should.
come to light.
Let's go ahead. Yeah, absolutely. But I did want to just talk about Avengers briefly because this is related to that. And okay, so this is that article from Comic Movie. This came out on I think like the 7th. It says our source tells us that the major developments are underway at DC Entertainment, and Man of Steel will spearhead it all. As I just said, Man of Steel will be Chapter 1 of a shared universe, and it will all bend around that film. In chronological terms, Man of Steel will be the first, so they won't make any more that happened before that. Henry Cavill will be given a new contract after Man of Steel that will probably include a pay raise with his new terms that feature Justice League film and subsequent sequels. So, it being a shared universe, they're not going to do what they talked about before, which was we're going to make a Justice League movie, but we're also going to make other movies that have those characters that aren't in that universe and are played by different people. They've now scrapped that, and now it is going to be Henry Cavill Superman in a Justice League movie.
And you know, another thing, why announce this right now? Why not wait to see if Superman's successful?
Yeah,
I mean, that's one of the
exactly.
things is that Avengers really hinged on Robert Downey Jr. being so good at playing Tony Stark.
You're absolutely right, yeah, because they had always planned the shared universe thing, but what if Iron Man hadn't been successful?
Yeah,
and nobody
they just scrapped
expected that to make that much money.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's the thing. That's the thing.
So you think they're making assumptions?
I think they're making an assumption that they're trying. I feel like they're doing with this kind of the same way that they did Green Lantern. They're like, oh, we're going to market this like it's the big DC movie that everybody thinks is going to be a sleeper hit.
Bombed.
And you know what? If it's awful, word spreads.
That's
People
right.
don't go see things that they know are going to be crap.
It's not going to...
Well, it's not necessarily true,
And
but
a
they
lot-
don't go see it in mass.
Yeah, and I should probably say for the subscribers that like Green Lantern, it wasn't the worst thing in the world, but I didn't,
Well.
I didn't like it either.
No, it was. It was.
But hey,
I'm kidding.
But hey, it wasn't anything like as good as any of the Marvel films. I'm gonna go there.
Yeah. I mean, go ahead.
I'm gonna go there. All right. Okay. This one's weird to me. The second movie after Man of Steel will be Lobo.
Why? I'm all full.
I'm all for a Lobo movie too.
I want to see a Lobo movie. I think it'd be really cool, but I don't want to see it connected to the Avengers. I mean, come on, or the Avengers. I really don't want
Me
to see
neither.
I don't want to see it connected to the West Coast Avengers.
Now, what it says is it will take place off film and won't affect any of the other movies. So it's in continuity in that they're making it, and this is the next one that happens after this, but it's not going to be connected to anything. I would assume that if it goes well, that later on I would imagine they'd probably bring him in maybe for something else. But yeah, I'm not sure why either. This does seem to kind of go along with with DC's regular MO, which is they like to keep making movies of really obscure things instead of going for the big ones earlier and earlier. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
I mean, they made Constantine and they made Watchmen, and they've done all these things. And again, I love those movies, but they've done these things before they've even attempted some of their bigger properties.
Yeah, obscure meaning the things that are less in the public consciousness.
Yeah, Watchmen's not obscure, but just as far as a DC property. And then there's Flash and Wonder Woman scripts, and those are going to be spin-offs from the Justice League films. So Justice League is actually going to happen before those, apparently. So that's where they're doing things differently from Avengers. Is that they're going to have their big giant movie before some of these happen. I think that might be a mistake. And here's the thing. You might be going, well, at least they're doing it differently than Avengers. But the nice thing about Avengers, and I'm not saying that they should, because like we said, I don't think it's going to be successful just because they're doing what Avengers did, but the great thing about Avengers was that we already knew most of those characters going in, and we didn't have to deal with any kind of origins or meeting them or introductory scenes and things like that. We could just tell a story with these characters coming together. And I mean, it was an origin film for the Avengers, but it wasn't an origin film for any in particular characters, or for any individual characters, excuse me. If you're spinning these off of that, you're probably going to have that problem.
You know, that's kind of raises questions in my head. You know, that's the thing, is that I like the idea of some of the stuff that they'd come up with before, like the World War II Wonder Woman movie. I really wanted that to happen. That Joss Whedon idea. And I really wanted.
I did too.
I really wanted the Flash that had multiple generations. So we had a Wally West is trying to live up to the Barry Allen. Barry Allen, right?
Yeah, that's what was always great about the Flash.
And I thought that would be a great idea. A Wally West movie where Flashes have existed in the past.
A generational film?
That'd be really cool, but they didn't want that to happen either. So now what are we trying to do? We're trying to force it. We're trying to force people to accept things. It drives me nuts. And furthermore, why? That's the problem when you have this shared universe, is that whatever a film establishes is what you have to run with. You have no room for creativity, or at least you have a more strained room for creativity.
Yeah, I suppose so. The next thing is that Ryan Reynolds is going to come back as Green Lantern, and that they're going to kind of ignore his first film. And they're not going to confirm or deny that it's in this universe, basically, but they're not going to talk about it. And my thing is, I think they should. And those of you that like Ryan Reynolds in that role, don't lynch me. I didn't like him. I didn't like him in that role. And I wish they would at least entertain the notion of looking at other choices. If they're going to ignore that movie anyway, and they're going to do a Green Lantern sequel. But if it's in the shared universe, they're probably going to, again, pretend like the first movie didn't really happen. And they've also said they're going to make him more serious. So they're going to change his character, and they have him played by the same person. We just saw that with Ghost Rider, and that didn't really work that well, I didn't think. So, I don't know.
I think Ryan Reynolds could do a good Green Lantern. Kind of like,
so.
I feel
the
like...
problem is I've never seen him in a movie where I liked him. But I haven't seen him in a lot of movies, so...
I also feel that that Jim Carrey could have made a really solid Riddler. As opposed to just Ace Ventura the Riddler.
I still think he kind of did, but whatever.
But I think Ryan Reynolds can do it. In fact, I think it might be fun to have Ryan Reynolds be that sort of more strong character Green Lantern, next to maybe a little bit more of a happy-go-lucky Flash. That might be some fun to have them play off of each other, because you have that inside of the Green Lantern. You have this person who wants to be fun.
Plus, that's comic book. There's been a lot of Green Lantern Flash.
Exactly. I've seen, so that could be kind of cool. I support Ryan Reynolds being the Flash. I would, but I support Ryan Reynolds being.
Oh, you do? Okay. All right. Fair enough.
I like Ryan Reynolds. I think that they could. I think that they had pretty good casting for the movie.
Oh.
I just think that the script was really bad. That's my opinion. I think that
I'll believe it. I'll believe it when I see it.
I believe the movie was kind of pretty. I feel like it could have been worked on a little bit more. I mean, Mark Strong as Sinestro. I don't know.
Yeah, Sinestro was great. He just didn't get anything to do. Like Kilowog was awesome, but he was there for 5.5 seconds. That was my problem was less what they did and what they didn't do. With that movie. Yeah, my problem was what they didn't do. They introduced all these great characters and did nothing with them. That was they didn't get any screen time. It was like, hey, guess what? There's a Green Lantern Corps. Let's go back to Earth.
It's kind of like they said, let's introduce cool things and then try to focus on the least interesting aspects of this man's life. So,
10
people,
my opinion. 10 people just unsubscribed. Okay, the rebooted...
I'm sorry.
The rebooted Batman film, and also, to be fair, Vince and I are not giant Green Lantern guys, but I wanted to like that movie. I really did. I did not go in going, I'm going to hate this, it's Green Lantern. I mean, I wanted to like it.
I like Ryan Reynolds. I want to like Green Lantern. I mean, I just haven't really had the chance.
Okay, the rebooted Batman film won't be an origin story. But we'll focus on a Batman who is entering his second year as a hero. That's fine with me. And will be part of the same universe. Okay. The details, plot-wise, for the Justice League movie are unknown. Naturally. Christopher Nolan will not be directing the Justice League movie. Naturally. There aren't any directors set yet for the Justice League movie. Oh, look, now we get into the list of things we don't know. The budget for Justice League will be around $270 million, which is a lot. Especially already setting a budget before you know how well the first movie in your shared franchise is? Really?
Do you even have a script to know how much you'll need to spend?
Have they already? Yeah, have they already written a script? I mean, okay, here's the thing. I have seen articles like this for the proposed Justice League movie before, and things always change. And guess what? We haven't had one yet. So I would not be surprised if most of this changes. Yeah. In varying ways. But I think they're gonna go. I think they're definitely gonna go shared universe. Don't you? I don't think that will change.
No, I don't think so. I think you're right. Anyway.
DC is looking to release 2 films a year, so it's probably going to be something like, and who knows, but it's probably going to be something like, this says, Man of Steel 2013, Lobo 2014, Justice League 2015, The Batman 2016. What do you think if they actually call it The Batman?
As long as they don't base it off the cartoon series, whatever.
I would love a really good Batman movie called The Batman, so that we can totally wash my taste out of my mouth from that show I didn't care for.
Yeah, God forbid somebody get it confused and use subtitles, because that might be kind of hard.
Wonder Woman 2016 and The Flash 2017. And then apparently, okay, this is the part that made Vince throw things. The look of the film will not be as colorful or as bright as The Avengers, which looked like a comic book in real life.
Yeah, you see, what bothers me about that, well, read the next part even.
Okay, the Justice League movie will look like an epic blockbuster film in tone with the Dark Knight trilogy and Man of Steel, which is something Warner Brothers is keen on, and they talked this up a lot, to avoid similarities with the Avengers.
Now, here's the deal. A lot of fans, I believe, are kind of looking at it and saying, okay, that's really cool. I really like what they did with the Dark Knight trilogy. That's really great, or at least presumably what they're going to do with the trilogy, as opposed to just the first two.
Yeah,
but
which is, we haven't seen it yet. Yeah.
But
thank you.
It's, that's okay. I understand that people want Batman to be treated right, but guess what? Not everybody's a dark and brooding character. Superman, The Flash are certainly not. Wonder Woman has only been made that way in recent years. And, Green Lantern, not really. Especially not played by Ryan Reynolds.
And his movie wasn't anything like dark.
Yeah, no, it was... See, that's the thing, is that I feel like you have a Ryan Reynolds... You have a Ryan Reynolds, because there's many... You have Ryan Reynolds playing Green Lantern. So what do you have? You have an opportunity for sort of an uplifting, stronger character who is more common man. Why? Because Batman's not common man. Flash, Superman, Wonder Woman. These people are not the common guy. Who's your ground? Green Lantern.
I think this is... There's a point I've been wanting to make this whole time, and I think this is the best place to bring this up. Whether or not you like the idea of Marvel doing a shared universe, in my head, and I'm sure a lot of other people don't agree with this, but to me, doing a shared Marvel movie universe will always make more sense than doing a shared DC universe. And the reason is because Marvel was invented that way and DC wasn't.
Yeah.
Marvel Comics was invented this way. Stan Lee created these characters, and as time went on, he kept having them meet each other. And the shared Marvel universe happened because Stan Lee thought it would be fun to put them all in the same place. And it didn't immediately start off that way, but very, very quickly, people started meeting each other. And, the Fantastic Four would hire Matt Murdock as a lawyer, and Spider-Man would meet the X-Men, and things would happen. Not so with DC. Why? Because DC was a conglomerate of a bunch of smaller comic book companies that all came together and formed DC Comics. Mm-hmm. And so many of these characters were created from different companies, Charleston and different companies. And so you had the Flash, if I remember correctly, as part of the Justice Society in a totally different publishing house than you had Batman and Superman. So my point is, and I've heard a lot of people say this over the years, the Marvel characters, most of them were invented by a few guys. Many of them invented by one guy and some artists, but for the sake of argument, a few guys, right? Who were putting them all in the same universe, and so they kind of naturally go together. And that's why it does feel a little bit weird that some of those characters that Fox has aren't in that universe, because they kind of go together. Then you go over to DC, and for years we've been having to kind of force this universe to work together, because these weren't characters that were created to be together at all. Now, does that automatically make it a problem? Does it mean it's going to be bad? No, not at all. Not at all. It could be great, but is it natural? Because I'm hearing some fans go, well, obviously DC needs to do what Marvel's doing. They've got a universe, and because I see Batman and Superman in the comics together, I want to see them on film together, because that's what it's supposed to be. And I say, well, I'm not necessarily.
Just because a continuity exists doesn't mean they have to tell the exact same stories that they have before.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't think it's automatically natural. That's all I'm saying.
No, here's the deal. I mean, Stan Lee wrote characters into the place that he knew. He was living in New York.
Yeah.
He knew places in New York.
Are made up places. Made up cities.
You can go around New York and point at the places that actually inspired the Avengers Tower and blah, blah, blah. So Stan Lee made this place New York. And Gotham, Metropolis, it's not like they're right next door to each other. I mean, the Justice League, there's a giant threat and they all have to come together. Why? Because they all have to, they're all hearing the news, so they have to come together for whatever reason. But they have to actively decide to fight the same thing. In New York, people just kind of run across each other.
Yeah.
So, and that's what they do a lot of the time in the comics. And that's what makes me afraid of shared universes, is that suddenly, oh, hey, dude, glad to see you're here. Oh, let's have fun in the same movie together. And that just drives me nuts, in comic books anyway.
So, The last big point on this is that Christopher Nolan is going to be godfathering this, where he's going to be kind of looking at it from afar and not really directing anything. He's just going to be kind of producing. And then the article somewhat facetiously says, so it seems to us that pretty much just means that he's sitting on the sidelines and occasionally gets a phone call and they ask him what he thinks about things and he tells them. And so whatever. But the thing about it is, okay, I want to kind of end my bit of this by just saying this. My problem with this is not that it's happening; it's why it's happening.
Yeah.
My problem with this is that I think Marvel did it. Okay, look, Marvel did it because they thought it would make money, but they also took risks with it, and so they found ways to tell interesting stories with it. Whether you love the shared universe or not, none of the Marvel movies are bad. None of them are bad, and I don't think are bad. I mean, there's some I like less than others, but none of them are bad. And so I do feel like there was more of a creative push with those movies than I think we're likely to get with this. I hope I'm proven wrong, but this feels completely, the foundation seems completely money on this. Completely. We just saw Marvel do it with Avengers, so we must do it with Justice League. That's what it feels like. And I feel like if the hearts aren't in the right place, we're going to get some movies that could have been way better than they're going to be. Now again, nobody lynch me for this. Maybe it's going to be great, and maybe I'm going to be proven wrong, and boy, I hope so.
Yeah.
But right out the gate, this doesn't seem like good news to me.
Yeah. I'll say it could be a good movie. They could all be good movies. I'm not saying that the way that I want things to be should be the only way. I'm just saying that...
I think Man of Steel is going to be largely unaffected by this. I'm still holding out for that. Now, I like Snyder and you don't, but I'm holding out for this. I think, and I think Cavill is a great choice for Superman. But anyway.
It's just... I don't like the idea of one movie and one decision really defining a set of movies. Because that's a lot of content, and that's a lot of years' worth of stuff that's going to be tied into one thing. If that one thing's not good, then we have a problem.
Well, I'm pretty sure that what they'll do is they'll do what Warner's always seems to do, which is they'll just shut the whole project down. You know what I mean? If the first couple don't do real well, they probably will abandon the entire project.
That's fair. That'd be weird, the first couple with Superman and then Lobo, being largely unconnected. Anyway.
Yeah, fair enough. But, they can't expect Lobo to perform. I don't know why they're making that movie. You can't expect that to do big guns.
Yeah, I think it'll do okay. I mean...
hopefully it's a little... It's not a giant budget. I mean, because they can't expect that to do big guns.
Well, that's the thing, is it's an intergalactic character. I mean, you're going to be doing a lot of stuff in space. Either that or you're going to have him crash on Earth and be stuck there for no apparent reason.
But a good Lobo film should be an R-rated movie. I mean, Lobo's not a character that reaches a wide audience. He is more for, kind of Grindhouse-type fans, right?
I would agree with that. I would like to see a rated R movie. I would like... And don't lynch me, Lobo fans. I feel like I've said a lot of things that's a little controversial in this video.
I think you have too, but that's all right.
There's one thing about Lobo that the fans love and that I just think is cheesy. They replace all the profanity with, intergalactic profanity.
Oh, frag and all that.
Yeah, frag and bastich and these things that are not real words.
But a lot of that was because we didn't have parental content labels.
Yeah.
It's like back in the 80s and 90s when all the Lobo I can think of was being written.
I wouldn't mind seeing the word frag in there.
How old is that character?
Oh,
do you know?
90s, I think.
He's at least a little bit earlier than that, I think, but not by a lot.
Yeah, he would be the earliest 80s.
But yeah, I mean, they wouldn't have. All I'm saying is they wouldn't have done that if they'd made him like a Vertigo book. But because he was in mainstream DC and because he popped into Superman and stuff, yeah, that's why they did that.
No, I'm all for them making all these movies. I'm all individually. I think it's a great idea to make all these movies.
Me too. Well, I'm excited to finally get a Flash movie. What the heck? I can't believe some of the things they made before they made that. You know what I mean? I can't believe they made Wanted before they made Flash. You know, I mean, things like that.
I would like a second shot at a Green Lantern movie. Really, I mean, I wouldn't mind.
I would too.
I feel like this movie could potentially pave the way for a second chance, but inevitably they would have given us the second chance anyway.
And I'll throw this out because this is what I wanted in the first place. I don't think they should make Green Lantern 2. I think they should make Green Lantern Corps.
Yeah, that's fair.
Well, what do you think? I'm sure there are going to be lots and lots of opinions on this. Once again, ours may not be the most popular. This is just our gut reaction. And understand, we looked at this article literally seconds before we started shooting this video. So this is literally our first gut, not especially thought out reaction. So anyway, leave us comments. Let us know what you think about what we said and what you think about this. And also, if there's something you'd like us to talk about in a future video, leave that in the comments as well. Thanks as always for watching. I'm Captain Logan.
And I'm Vince, reminding you to support your local comic book store or movie continuity.
Hey Vince, you know what I think? What? I think our subscribers should join the Geeks United Club.
They should. You know why? Because they get lots of cool stuff when they join.
Like my new book, The Girl with 7 First Names. It's a funny science fiction novel. I think you'll really like it. You get it signed and personalized by me.
You also get something not by Captain Logan. A random selection from the comic vault.
And a DVD with a custom Geeks Not Nerds just from us to you, and up to 2 hours of your favorite Geekvolution videos.
You also get a letter from Doomsday proclaiming the doom of all of us.
And you get this great membership card where you get to pick if you want to be a Logan tier or a Doomsayer. What else do they get, Vince?
They get all of that in a handy manila envelope in which we ship all of your stuff.
Well, that's true, but that's not what I was going to talk about. They also get to pick a movie for me to do in the Rewind style sometime in the next several months.
Wow, that's a lot of great stuff.
Isn't
They
it?
get all of that for exactly $20.
Exactly $20. That includes shipping. And they also get access to new video content just for people in the club.
That sounds like a lot of cool stuff, and it's only $7 more than just buying his novel.
That's absolutely true, and it's really great because getting things in the mail is
It's
fun.
really cool.
It's fun.
Get in the mail.